Hello everyone, welcome to another insightful session by Caplexus Capital. So today we are going to talk about something every finance student is curious about and how to get internships in finance and what actually matters. And to break this down, we have our guest Prakhar Khandelwal who has gone through this journey and has real insights to share with us. So Prakhar, hi, can you briefly introduce yourself and your journey in finance?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you, Caplexus Capital, for having me on this session. And thank you, Adarsh, for hosting me. So, starting with introducing myself. So, my name is Prakhar Khandelwal, and I'm from Neemuch, Madhya Pradesh. Currently, I am pursuing my MBA in Financial Administration from Institute of Management Studies, DAVV. Uh, and my background is actually a non-traditional for finance. I did my BCA and I come from computer applications background. But finance wasn't something that I had on my radar. But when I entered MBA and started getting exposure to the concepts like valuation, financial statements, and how businesses actually make money, something clicked in me. So I started going deeper on my own, uh, using platforms like Screener, reading annual reports, and slowly things started making sense for me. Since then, I have done two internships. One as an internal audit intern at Prajapita Brahma Kumari's Ishwari Vishwavidyalaya, which is headquartered in Mount Abu. As an internal audit intern, I work closely with the bookkeeping softwares, Excel, worked on their ERP software called Connect One, and the another one at Simplex Corporate Advisory as a finance and legal intern, working with the filing ideas for the clients, working on the MCA portal, uh, understanding about how clients' portfolios are managed, and helped with the regular stuffs. So I also cleared the NISM 15, that is Research Analyst certification, and some other financial modeling certifications as well from Udemy. And some of the Forage certifications on financial modeling and Excel simulation. So yeah, it's been a journey of intentional building.
Okay, so nice. So how did you get your first internship in finance?
So honestly, it wasn't a smooth journey at all. Initially, I faced so many rejections, continuously applying like 50 other places till I reached one. So what helped me was improving my profile, that is step by step. Initially, I wasn't aware about how to build up my profile, how to skill up. So my first internship was at Brahma Kumaris in Mount Abu. It was an accounts and internal audit intern. Not the most glamorous one which one could dream of, but yeah, I learned some hands-on experience on ERP softwares, the audit procedures that have been involved in the uh, working, and some advanced Excel that I gained experience practically. The things that actually matter, you know, that experience then helped me land another internship from at Simplex Corporate Advisory, where I worked on ITR filings, the balance sheets, analyzing the trading portfolios, and even on the MCA portal. So it was consistency and iteration, and not just learn.
Next question. What is one thing students do wrong in their resume?
See, I have been on that journey, so I have a first-hand experience on where one could go wrong. And the first and the most important thing is people usually lack clarity and relevance. That's the biggest one for me. Students either fill their resume with random things which really don't matter, but just to fill up the resume, or write very vague points. So I was guilty of this too as well. So the shift happened when I started thinking, does this answer does this answer the question why someone should hire me for this specific role? And that clicked something. And the other point is that one should quantify their work. I didn't just write I did audit work. No, I wrote that I did vouching, compliance documentation, worked on ERP softwares, connect ones, and did the data validation in Excel. That specificity matters. So, and please remove those hardworking and responsible team player kind of keywords from the skills section, because that's reflected in your internship that you did and not just the actual points that you add up in your resume. So yeah, that's it.
Next question. What skills should a student focus on for finance internship?
So as we know that there has been a huge demand as for a financial profession, as a financial profession. You basically need to understand how the Excel works. The most basic skill that you need to develop is Excel. Later on, jumping on to the Tally ERP softwares, that is Tally or SAP HANA, and the softwares that usually works for the management in the uh, company. So yeah, first, that is the core understanding. One should know about the financial statement, how to read them, not just solve the questions, the bookish ones, but to understand how it's practically done, how it's interpreted, the financial ratios, and how a business generates and uses cash. It's the most important thing for me. And this is non-negotiable, you know. In both of my internships, this was expected from day one that I know all these things. The second one, as I told you, that the Excel, the tools specifically, what I did was from the on the first day of my MBA journey, I did a course from for us, that is Goldman Sachs Excel simulation. And during my audit internship, that really helped me to understand how things are done practically. Uh, and the all the functions that you should understand the depth of the tool. It's not just the spreadsheets, but how the data is churned and converted into a meaningful information. The data validation, the ifs function, the pivot tables, they won't alone cut it. You need to understand how these work and helpful in your journey. So, and the third one that I think is the ability to think beyond the bookish knowledge. Can you look at a trading portfolio and say something meaningful about it? Ask yourself. See, when I was at Simplex, I wasn't just analyzing portfolios, I was drafting advisory notes as well on liquidation versus strike off. That requires a structured thinking, not just the bookish knowledge. So, yeah.
So can you tell me the importance of Excel and financial modeling in real selection?
All right. I think this is a very important question, and everybody should uh, highlight this point. Very important that I see this from my actual experience, not just theory. So Excel was the first thing I was expected to use in both of my internships. Okay. So at Brahma Kumari's, it was a large scale audit data, and you need to cleanse up the data, manipulate it using the nested formulas. At Simplex, I prepared balance sheets, preparation, and the portfolio analysis. So at both of my internships, I was expected to know all these tools from day one. I specifically did the financial modeling and Excel certification from Udemy for to sharpen up my skills before my first internships, and it genuinely helped me. The financial modeling becomes very critical for a role like equity research analyst, which is where I headed from the NISM research analyst certification. But even if you're not going on that route, Excel is expected everywhere. So being weak in Excel is a real disadvantage. Yeah.
How can a beginner start building these skills? Can begin with.
Let's start simple. Okay. So First of all, stay consistent in whatever thing you are doing. Stay consistent. That's what worked for me. I started by understanding the financial statements properly, asking questions from my professors that the other classmates were not interested in asking. So, the asking the whys behind everything is the key to understand the financial depth of everything. Uh, the under, I started understanding financial statements and not just their structures, but what it actually tells you about that business. Okay, so then I moved to Excel, understanding the basics first, then the advanced functions. And I didn't just practice on dummy data. I used real companies. So certifications also helped me to stay structured, uh, understanding the roadmap and the and I didn't try to learn everything at once. Honestly, having too much on my plate, you need to understand that you have to start in a structured way and pick one skill, go deep, and then move forward.
So if someone is starting from zero, what should be their next step?
Okay. So, see, I'm the person who started from zero, and initially I had a lot of confusion about what role should I go for and what even these role means. What all work do I need to do in all these roles? So the first thing that I looked out for is the clarity. Before any course, before doing any certification, just ask yourself what domain is best suited for you. What interests you the most? So I came from a BCA background. I had zero formal financial training. Yeah. So if I had jumped straight into the financial modeling without understanding the basics, I would have been lost. It's a clear thing. So start understanding how businesses work, how money comes in, where it goes, and how financial statements reflect that story. So once that foundation is solid and everything else, ratios, valuations, modeling starts to make sense naturally to you. The foundational clarity is what made my internship experience
Yeah, right.
effective rather than overwhelming.
So what kind of questions were asked in your interview, and were they more technical or HR based?
So, if you are going out for a financial internship and you want to prepare for an interview, so be prepared for a mix of all the questions because they are not just going to analyze you on your bookish knowledge or just on your personality basis. It is going to be a mix of both. And I think that's actually the norm. So on the technical side, I would say the financial statements, the basic ratios, and how do you analyze a company? How would you extract the insights from the statements? At Simplex, especially in my time, they wanted to know if I understand the practical side, things like difference between liquidation and strike off, how ITR filing works, the basics of compliances. So it was in the technical side. And on the HR side, I would say that why finance? Since I am from a BCA background, how would you handle that pressure? And the most important thing, the things that you have already done, your resume. So they will walk through your resume because they want to know how well you have understood the things that you have written here. Because obviously you are writing it in your resume because you have done something in it, right? So, and the last one, that is the resume, right? Which I already said. So that's where most people get caught. See, everything you write, you need to own it fully. So I made sure that I speak about it in depth. Every line on my resume meant something. Yep, that's it.
So moving to the next question, how can students prepare effectively, and like what mistakes do most students make according to you?
Okay. So the effective preparation, it's not about doing more. It's about the doing things right. Okay. So in the right order as well. So most students get this wrong. They jump between random YouTube videos, courses, and notes. Since it's a AI era that we live in, and there is so much resources available online that students get confused on what to do and what not to do. So I made that mistake initially too. So what actually worked for me, what I would recommend is a four-layer approach that I followed. The first is building the fundamentals. So just a second. First is building the fundamentals. So before touching the advanced topics like valuation, the financial modeling, you need a clarity on what financial statements are, income statement, the balance sheet, the cash flows, not just definitions, but how they connect. For example, how profit flows into retained earnings, or how cash flows differ from profit. So this foundation is what interviewers test, even indirectly. And second is the skill application. The knowledge without application doesn't stick. When I learned Excel, I didn't just watch tutorials. I used it during my internship for audit work, the data validation and analysis. Even if someone doesn't have an internship yet, they can practice on real company data, download their annual reports. It's available on Screener. Anybody can download it. Build basic models, calculate ratios. This is where most students lag. They consume, but they don't apply it practically. The third is the most important thing is the resume alignment. Align your resume with the role that you are applying for. Because preparation is not about just learning; it's about presenting what you have learned. है ना? Every skill you build should reflect on your resume. And more importantly, you should be able to talk about it. For example, if you mention financial modeling, you should be able to explain what model you have built, what assumptions you have used, and what insights you have derived from it. The fourth is the communication practice. This is highly underrated. Many students know concepts, but they fail to express them clearly. I started practicing answers out loud. Simple questions like "Tell me about yourself," or "How do you analyze a company?" So you have to practice it daily. I remember I used to speak these answers standing in front of a mirror and reciting it continuously until it uh, prints on my brain. So yeah, so this builds confidence and it brings clarity. So mock interviews, another thing, it helps a lot. Yeah. And now from a generic perspective, I would say that consistency beats the intensity. You don't need 10 certifications, just the two, three, the relevant ones. Uh, do it properly, and you don't need to study 8 hours a day, but whatever you study, you should understand it deeply. And also, preparation should be role specific. Preparing for equity research is different from preparing for accounting or corporate finance roles. So, first decide your direction, then align your preparation accordingly. And one more thing I would like to add is the track your progress. Every week, ask yourself, what new skill did I build? What can I now do that I couldn't do last week? So if you can't answer that, you're probably stuck in passive learning. In short, strong basics, a real application, and a clear resume, uh, and the confident communication. Get these four right, and you'll be ahead of most of the population.
So moving to the next question, what are three things every student should do to get shortlisted?
Okay, all right. So, firstly, let's start with the mistakes that they do while preparing. So, it's the biggest mistake the students make is the confusing the activity with progress. They feel that watching lectures, collecting notes, and enrolling in courses, uh, it's making an imprint, it's doing something. But when it comes to perform during an interview, they struggle a lot. From my own journey and observing others, there are few clear mistakes that I understand. Uh, the basics. I have seen people stuck in questions that are the most basic fundamentals of finance and accounts. So yeah, first is skipping the basics. So many students directly jump into advanced topics like stock valuation or financial modeling because it sounds so impressive. It's in demand, But without understanding the financial statements and core concepts, these topics don't make sense. I've seen people who can build a model but can't explain what drives revenue or cash flow. So that's a red flag in an interview. Secondly, is the passive learning. Watching videos and feeling like you've done something productive, but it's not enough. I made the progress only when I started applying these things. Using Excel, analyzing real companies, working on actual tasks during internships. That's where my growth really happened. If you're not practicing it, you're not really learning it. The third, I would say, is the generic resumes. Most resumes look the same skills, same vague lines, the same ChatGPT prompts, like hardworking or team player. This doesn't differentiate you, na. Recruiters want evidence. What exactly did you do? What tools did you use? What impact did you create? When I improved my resume by adding specific work that for example, used the entire enterprise resource planner, the ERP software, the Connect One usage, and understanding how auditing works, the procedures involved in auditing, analyzing the portfolios. So I started getting better responses. The fourth one, I would say, is not knowing their own story. This is the big one. So students prepare technical answers but fail basic HR questions like why finance or tell me about yourself. Especially for someone like me who come from a BCA background, this question was critical. You need a clear, honest narrative on how you started, what you have done, and where you are going. We can add some more things to that. People are inconsistent. I've seen lots of my friends enrolling into certification programs but unable to complete them just because they get bored in the middle doing it, or they might find some another course that is of a better interest than that. So that's not how things work. So you have to start strong, enroll in courses, make plans, but they drop off after a few weeks. The ones who actually get internships are not necessarily the smartest, but they are the most consistent. They show up every day. I faced rejections too, but I kept improving my profile step by step, uh, improving my resume based on the profiles that I'm applying for. This is one of the key things that one should keep in mind. And from a broader perspective, I would say that another mistake is the comparison and mindset issues. Like students are from tier 2 or tier 3 college, often assumes that they are already at a disadvantage and they don't even try fully. Their mindset itself becomes the biggest barrier. The reality is, with online resources, the certifications, and internships, the gap can be reduced significantly. Getting a practical exposure and getting a degree from a tier 1 college can balance it up. Uh, Many students they overcomplicated the thing. They overcomplicate things. So you don't need to know everything. Focus on a few core areas and go deep. Depth beats surface level knowledge. Huh? If I had to summarize the major mistakes, these would be the avoiding the basics, the fundamentals, not applying the skills practically, having a weak resume or lack in clarity in storytelling about why finance or tell me about yourself questions, and being inconsistent. Fix these and you'll be already doing
Now,
better than 40%, 80% of the competition. It's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared and reliable. So good.
I
These two are strong already, and I'll if I'm all right.
To the last question.
Okay.
Now we are moving to the last question. How can a student from tier 2 and tier 3 colleges can compete?
I have answered that question already, but okay, since you have asked it again, I'll go through it. So, as I said, that from students from tier two or tier three colleges assumes that they are already at a disadvantage, and they don't try. So they don't try it fully. They don't give their best. But to understand it, the first thing is mindset is really itself a barrier in your progress. You need to understand that the practicality, the knowledge beats the experience beats the degree from the tier 1 college. If you have a good experience, good fundamentals, you are already at an advantage than a person who is unprepared, who is not prepared, even if he is from a tier 1 college. So you don't need to overcomplicate things here. Just know that the interview out there is not expecting you to answer each and every question, but to answer the questions that you know in a deep level, so that beats the surface level knowledge. Yep, that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing this valuable insights, and I'm sure this will help a lot of students who are preparing for.
Okay, others,
Thank you, brother.
thank you so much for having me on this session. Good to have you. Thank you.